good to get back out there. It was fun.
Talk about this season, a unique season where you guys are total independents. What's it going to be like, and how's your feeling about that?
I think it's going to be great. I look at the competition we're going to be facing, the teams we'll go up against, 7 home games again. I really like where we're at with our schedule.
You brought in a handful of new coaches, some of them like in the last couple of weeks. How did you get them, on the same page just quickly for a first spring practice?
Yeah, just a lot of work in that short amount of time. Luckily, they're with Coach McCann and Coach Cav. They are familiar with what we were doing. They coached in systems like this before, so it was pretty easy transition. Same thing with Coach Akey and Coach Kreiner. Part of why I picked them was they were from that same kind of world, and so it was very easy to translate over.
What's it like to have Coach Cav back on the field with you?
It's great. He's awesome, and then just wealth of knowledge. So it's great for our guys.
How have they assimilated with the rest of the staff?
It's been great. Yeah, it's been seamless. Again, I've known everyone except Coach McCann for a long time, so it was pretty easy. Coach Gunderson, same thing. Knew Coach Cav, knew all those guys for a long time, so it was pretty easy.
Second spring training head coach, just how is it in year 2 for you? You feel more comfortable? Just what's it like in back for year 2 for you?
Yeah, very much more comfortable, right? Know what to expect, know how the day unfolds, what you want the day to unfold and look like, and then just how you want practice operated. Absolutely.
Trent, how much of you being more comfortable is you being back with the defense and working as DC, and how's that transition going for you so far?
It's been great. So, yeah, and that was the big part. Okay, after that first season, what can I do? What do I need to do? And then add the pieces around me to make sure I can do it the way I want it done. It's been great. It's been fun to be back coaching.
What do you want to get out of this spring practice, this spring?
Yeah, a lot of new guys, and then guys that got to take that next step. Guys like Dexter Foster and Cy, and guys that played a lot last year that need to take that next step in year 2. So really, it's getting familiar and drilling down on what we need to be great at on both sides of the ball, and then becoming masters of those things so we can build on it when we get to fall camp.
How difficult is it going to be sort of bouncing around, especially during this period where it's early on, you have all these new players bouncing from DC to that head coaching role and bouncing around to the different groups?
Yeah, so having Coach Kreiner, Coach Akey have allowed me to do that. Even today, just, okay, hey, Coach Kreiner, you're taking Indy with the inside backers, why go over with the offense? So having guys like that you trust and know are great coaches makes it easy.
Coach, talk a little bit about the quarterback room. Just 3 guys, obviously, compared to last year when you had a few extra. How will it be getting with just 3 guys for spring? And do you think you'll be able to balance the reps between those guys pretty well?
Yeah, I think so. And then just got to be smart, pitch count on each one of them. But especially with every other day practicing, right? No back-to-back days of practice. That makes it gives them more time to recover.
Since Malik got to campus, what did you like most about him?
Well, he's sitting right there, so it's hard to answer that honestly. No, I've just been impressed with everything about him, from the way he carries himself, knowledge, just football intelligence. It's been fun to be around him.
How did you identify that he was the quarterback in the portal that you wanted to go after, and how did that process go?
Well, we tried to get him the year before, right? So the knowledge about him, knowing a lot of people that he's worked with at Texas, and so there was people we knew and trusted that we asked their opinion on, not only how great a player is, you can see that on film, but who is he, how does he work? So we felt great about that part of it. And then, just Coach Gunderson and constant communication, and got him up on a trip, and here he is.
Is it fitting that his first spring practice here, it rained?
I don't know if it's fitting, but it's good for him. Get adjusted, acclimated right away.
With the 2024 team, obviously not a ton of pass rush production from the defensive line. A lot of injuries went into that. How do you kind of see that front 7 group looking this season, and where what strides are you looking to take? Yeah, we've got to affect the passer. That's a big emphasis this spring, off season, everything we're doing. And then we brought in some guys to add a little bit more depth to that room that have proven pass rush production in college. So I feel good about where they're at, and looking forward to seeing how they develop as spring goes along. What does year 2 of Gundy's offense look like?
Hopefully a lot of touchdowns. That's what I'm hoping. No, I think it's just he's more comfortable. Again, year 2 for him as well, right? Year 2 calling it. Year 2, he knows exactly how he wants it to look, what we can fix from a year ago that he didn't like how it looked. So I think that comfortability for him will be that much better.
With you running defense now, are you a little bit more hands-off at the offensive side of the ball and kind of leaving that up to him?
I did that anyway. I've never been a meddler, and trust whoever I hire to do their job. And so being on defense, I probably notice more about the offense now just because I'm looking at it from how are we going to stop this point of view.
Trent, between the transfers and the early enrollees, you have something like 16, 17 new faces, joining today. How exciting is it to get guys, obviously enrolling early and then have transfers who can hit the ground running and get ready for spring?
Yeah, the early enrollee and the transfers being here early are huge. The ability to get winter conditioning in, they had a great winter conditioning, and then to get these 15 spring practices in, and then go into the off season having those two things as we move forward is very important.
What are some of the biggest things you wanted to address in year 2 as a head coach in the spring?
I don't know if there was one of the biggest things. It was really we just need to drill down on both sides of the ball on simplifying it. What do we want to be great at? I think we don't want to be a jack of all trades. We want to be a master of a few. And so asking Coach Gunderson, myself, to look at those things that we're going to hang our hat on when the season comes. And then once you got that core foundation, you can start to build on that. But without the core foundation, it doesn't matter what you do.
When do you expect to identify those traits?
We've identified them going in the spring, and those are the things we're installing. And the things that we felt we were good at and felt fits the talent we have in the room. And then as spring goes, we'll evolve as we get to know these guys even better.
What are those kind of core tenets, maybe a bullet point for each side of the ball?
Well, we already hit on the pass rush on defense, the ability to get after the quarterback. And I think the passing game on offense. I think we ran the ball extremely well a year ago. We were just inconsistent throwing the football. We need that to be a threat and feel it will be.
What were those conversations like bringing Coach Kavanaugh in here when he was obviously coming from a pretty good situation down the road?
Yeah, actually it was pretty easy. It happened really fast. I think Kyle told me Thursday night that he was going to Chicago. We called Cav Thursday night and said, hey, would you have any interest? And that's kind of how it started. He said yes, and so we kind of went through the process knowing that Cav was interested and then landed on him, and he was up here a couple days later. So it was great. Him being that close really made it easy to get him here.
It's kind of the second season of you getting to rebuild parts of this staff, and it's been a lot of, same as last year, a lot of guys who've had experience working in this job or are alums of this program. Is that something super important to you when you're looking into making hires, and what does that kind of do for the team?
Yeah, it's important. I think understanding this place, it's a unique place. In a lot of ways, recruiting, how to sell this place, what are the things that make this place great? They know it because they've spent a lot of time here. What's the identity of the football teams that have been really successful here? These guys know it, and so that is important to have at least the base knowledge of this place.
Anything else?
Second year with Jabari, obviously it's early in spring, but what have you seen his growth from last spring to now?
Night and day in everything he's doing, in the classroom, in the conditioning, this winter conditioning, he had great winter conditioning, and then just seeing him more and him diving into the football part even more. The growth that he's had has been fun to watch and really excited about him.
Trent, anybody we won't see spring injury-wise, anything like that?
Yeah, there's some guys. I think there's a list of them that I couldn't tell you accurately off the top of my head, so I won't try to. But yeah, there's some guys that'll miss spring or miss parts of spring.
Being the returner in that quarterback room who actually played last season, where have you seen him sort of take on a bit of a leadership role and to, help the transition with Malik?
Yeah, I think he's just what I said just a second ago. Like he's doing the right things. So he's a guy you can now look at and point to of a guy that, like, that's what you want guys to do. He's kind of leading by example, less vocally, but more by example. He's getting good grades. He's where he needs to be. He's working hard in the weight room. He's working hard in the film room. So he's a leader by example right now. We just need to keep pushing him that way.
The coming back of the Pac-12, the relaunch of the Pac-12, that's getting closer and closer all the time. As it does, is that making a difference when you're talking to players about recruiting and bringing them here, that this interim period is coming to an end and a new Pac-12 is on the way and be here shortly?
Yeah, I think it's just to have an answer in the future, right? You know where you're going to be, whereas a year ago it was in limbo. You didn't know what was going to happen. I think that's important, just in general, to have a kind of a road map of where you're going. So, and it's exciting about the programs that are joining it and being really the only conference left that is playing regionally. Doesn't have to travel all across the country every other week. So I think it's a good thing.